feeling you get when it comes up?
And hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Half the Race Gone for yet another round, yet another race of the Nukeshot Endurance Series. And once more, we are, for the second week in a row, we are at Suzuka. This time with the AM drivers in the LMP cars, and we have the pro drivers in the GT3s. So, of course, once more, it's going to be interesting to see how this all goes. Suzuka, as we saw last week, being well, very difficult track to negotiate the traffic in. As I have a sip of my traditional broadcast coffee. But let us do hope that that the drivers have learned a thing or two about the traffic and overtaking in it since last week, where we had, as we said before, a little bit of a dramatic race in many ways. So with that said, we are gonna do one thing before we do the grid walk, and now we're gonna do the grid pole position while I look up the points table that I've already found in advance because I am so professional. So starting off with the LMP cars, the AM class, it is once again championship leader Nilseman 2002. He is at 84 points and is holding a dominant advantage in the point standings over Ninja Karma. On second place, in second position on the grid, it is Gugas in the Toyota TS050, and on third place we have Dutch, still pretty much newcomer, Mika in the Audi R18 hybrid. And do remember, this is the second week of livery fortnight here with the NES. So still special liveries being on display from a majority of the teams here tonight. In what will then be fourth position, it is teammate of leading driver in the second of the two Mazda LM55 Vision GT cars. It is Ninja Karma, of course, in P5, and then it is Jim in the Britannia Racing Peugeot. He's in P5, and then it is Off Apple in the, so I say regular, dare I say regular Audi R18, the non-hybrid one. And Off Apple, he is third in the point standings, just to go through that as well, with the 52 points. Mika, he is fourth with 30 points. Gugas is in fifth position, not having raced that much in the LMP class, but having had some very good results with a win at Monza. He's on 28 points with Snipperator on 27, Germain at 18, and GTO on 8 points. So, as we come down to the GT Pro field, it is Joe of the Fire, who before, or at this point, coming into this race, he is on a split first position with the guy who accompanies him on the front row. That is, of course, Stevie in the number one Aston Martin. In P3, it is myself in the other Mazda Atenza. And to have the symmetry perfect, we have Trials 666 in P4 on the grid in the second Aston Martin. Then behind it is the two Vert Beetles of respectively CJ, and then Armored Core in positions 4 and 5. And in sixth position it is Wake CU with the Sparks 360 in eighth position at the back of the GT field there. So, just to get through the standings also in the GT Pro field, it is, as I said, Stevie and Joe. They are pretty much, they are side by side at 73 points. In third it is CJ with 62 points. Trials, he is fourth at 42 points. Then it's Wake CU at 28 points. Armored Core also at 28 points. Then it's myself at 25 points, Sparks 360 with 23 points, and Tetsu Kubura with 12 points. And with that said, we have the drivers on the formation lap. And no need to go into the live timing, that was certainly not what I intended to do. Or just to fix these different small things. So it'll be really interesting to see if Nilseman can keep his dominant display going from the last couple of races. He really has been the guy to beat in the AM field, in the LMP cars. Only really at Monza has someone been able to post up some real opposition. And apart from Monza, of course, also at Dragon Trail, where Snipperator took a comeback win in the LMP cars. So there's off Apple. And of course the overall P7, that means first position in class, and that is at the moment Joe of the Fire with the compatriot Stevie and championship competent as well. Those two side by side. So today's race is gonna be really important. Mind you, we've had a ballast reset after the last race, so the drivers are only carrying what ballast they would have picked up after the Dragon Trail race, which means that in the GTs here it is Traus with 3%, it is CJ with 2%, and I actually think it is Sparks 360 with a single percent of ballast, if I'm not completely mistaken. Could also be Armored Core, I'll have to look it up. No, it is. I was correct. It is Sparks 360. And of course, in the LMPs, it is Snipperator with 3% ballast. Nilseman, after taking second position at Dragon Trail, he has 2%. And Mika is running a single percent of added weight ballast to his car. And hello to Stevie, and also hello to Mika, hello to Nilse, hello to Joe, Apple, all of you. Really good to see you once more, as we do have the LMP cars coming down through 130R very slowly indeed here, and it is Nilseman who, as I feel like I'm saying this in every broadcast, and it is becoming a returning theme, but it is of course once more Nilseman's decision on when to go full throttle. And he does so very, very, very early there. And oh, was that a little bit of contact? Was that a little bit of lag? It was difficult to see, but it was definitely overtaking before the line. It was in the gray area of that as somebody goes shooting off, and that was probably Jim. He's down into 6th position. So Google's taking the lead there. That was quite difficult to tell if that was an early start there. Mika also getting the jump, with both the hybrid systems of those cars really being at advantage in the start, and Nilseman pretty much left for dead there, as we have off Apple now in P4 as well, so he at least got cleanly away. Serious organizer there, off Apple, who also have the start just about to go in the GT class. And here we have the cars coming down towards turn 1. It is Joe of the Fire getting a really good run there on Stevie, who in turn has a little bit of defending to do, but he certainly won't get any crazy attacks up the inside there. Looks very orderly for the GT3s down through turn 1. Not any immediate crazy action. That is, of course, maybe a little bit dull, you'd say, but of course really nice to see all the drivers just getting cleanly through that tricky first turn there. Guga still leading out the LMPs, and now having created somewhat of an advantage for himself there, taking advantage of the entire track there through 130R. Mika just really trying to close up that gap, with Nilseman still in 3rd. Rounding out the LMP podium at the time being. completely satisfied with the start he got there. Joe of the Fire now putting in a little bit of distance, a little bit of daylight between himself and Stevie as they come through Spoon and onto the long straight there. Little left kink, and looks to have a little bit of an advantage there as Stevie has myself in the second master for company there with the special very bright green livery. Certainly not a car you'll miss when looking at the at the cars in general here on track. Stevie taking a wide defensive line and yet getting a great exit there. Of course, all important as now CJ is right on my tail and looking to maybe be able to make move, but as we've seen on other occasions here, the Beetle just lacks a little bit of straight line grunts and just makes it really difficult for CJ to get any of the overtaking done there. Joe of the Fire, as I said, still in front. It is Stevie and then myself, followed by CJ and Traus, also very close still to the back of the Greek driver, so not that much of a spread in the GT class yet. As we join LMP leader Gugas as he crosses the start-finish line, coming onto lap 4. And he's owning a little gap down to Mika, but is not really extending it. The young Dutchman seems to be going well at this moment there. Off Apple, losing some time and falling a little bit behind. Same goes for Ninja Karma. Might have had an accident there, or a little incident at least, some kind of problem there over the opening couple of laps. Joe of the Fire, he's just ever so slightly pulling away now, as Stevie's also been able to put some daylight between him and myself. And CJ still very close to the back of that master. Well, Mika, I can only commentate on what I've seen so far. Well, you haven't really gone off yet. It is Gugas leading, and it is Mika here coming to pass Sparks at the bottom of the GT3 field. Of course it is. And Mika here on the exit of Spoons. And a difficult corner. Such an important exit though to get right. And down through 130R. Seems to do well at the moment. And there is Nilseman still in third position. As we said before, Apple, Ninja Karma here on his way through the chicane. Jim in sixth position. And having a look with Joe of the Fire. He's coming through Dunlop at the moment and down towards the two Daxers. And he is certainly just ever so slightly breaking away from Stevie at the moment. Or actually, it does actually look like Stevie is closing up a little bit now. In turn, he has also opened up a gap to myself in behind. So it'll be interesting to see if he'll be able to close the gap there on Joe of the Fire. Still, Gugas, he in turn seems to just have edged out that advantage a little bit down to Mika in second position. Nilseman just seeming to bide his time, staying close to Mika, staying on, but really not getting anywhere closer really. And just to have a look at the different tire strategies of the different cars there. We have Gugas on the soft tires, Mika, Nilse, Apple, Ninja, and Jim. Well, the entire field there actually of LMP cars on the soft tires, except for Nilse, who's gone for different tires front and back, and he's on the super softs on the rear. Here Joe of the Fire on his super soft tires. So Joe of the Fire up through the first sector of the track. And certainly always a difficult one to get right there, as we have a battle that is certainly developing and emerging here at this moment, with CJ getting quite close to myself now. And just as I say that, he seems to have made a little mistake there up through Dunlop there, and just lost some time, and maybe just lost that real deep slipstreaming advantage that he had before. There, Trout 666 now getting left by Gugas, getting very close there. And this is gonna be some nerve-wracking moments as we have the first real passage of traffic from the LMP leaders. And let's see how they fare and get along there. And seems to go well here for the first round of traffic, as I said before, off Apple. Still just trying to cling on there, seemingly actually having gained a bit of time through that round of traffic. Gugas got through cleanly this time, at least up until the two leaders now. As it is Stevie actually getting really close to Joe of the Fire here, coming up towards turn one. He might be able to go for the dive. And I think it's time to cut, because Stevie just goes on the inside there through turn one. That is a strong move from the defending champion as he takes the lead in the GT class there. Really, really, really hard place to make that one stick, and he did so with great authority there, Stevie. Just the two of us driver there as Mika comes up. Oh, and he just gets a bump and he goes wide. Oh, Stevie is off, and that's in Dunlop, and that lost him. Oh, that lost him quite some seconds. Just a little touch there from Mika. And there was no damage to the car of Stevie, at least. But as we see here, it really seems to have upset his rhythm in a negative way, because he's now getting company from CJ, who's trying to get on the outside there. That is Ninja Karma also making his way through. So horrible luck for defending champion Stevie there in traffic. And the traffic claiming its first, well, not really casualty, because he is still second. He did not lose that much time, but still really some bad luck to suffer. And now Mika is down to 4th position, and he is suffering damage. So he might actually have damaged his own car in that incident before. And let's see if, yeah, he is bringing the car into the pits to get that stuff repaired. And so is Nilseman also with quite heavy damage there. Really something we've missed there on the opening round of traffic there for Nilseman, who comes out of the pit lane here. And he comes straight out into the head of the two doodling Danes there with Trial 666 and myself. There, Nilsen getting cleanly past Trials through turn one. Very difficult place to overtake the traffic as well. But he just seemed to manage just fine, actually. And now he is most certainly on a hunt. So Gugas, and he has certainly built his advantage and is looking quite strong at the moment. Here 8 laps into the race, 15 minutes of racing gone, and leading the LMP class by a sizable margin. Off Apple just going around steadily, but he has also picked up some damage to the front of his car. Ninja, he's in 3rd position. himself getting cleanly through the traffic there. And for whatever trouble he might have had, he hasn't picked up any damage either. And in P4 it is Jim, and neither does he have any damage. Still keeping that car out. So Joe of the Fire now really having the chance to put in a big advantage now. That might just be a race decider on this. He bins it himself. And that is not exactly what he is known for doing, Joe of the Fire. So it'll very much just be a case of surviving the traffic here as Mika just plays it very patiently up through turn 1. And does it just about right. That is well executed there from Mika on the pass. Stevie still in second position in class. And having also pulled out his advantage down to CJ. And CJ now in turn having just about the company of the two Danes. It is myself and Trial 666. So just about to have a three-way scrap here for third position. And here, as I go on the inside of Stevie, of CJ, but CJ seems to get a strong exit there, coming into 200R, and just slots right back into that third position. So a strong defensive move from CJ, even though he did go a little bit wide into the hairpin here, as we come through Spoon Curve onto the back straight. It'll be interesting to see what Trials can do here with that double slipstream as I go to the inside of the ghosting CJ. Still ghosting. And nobody wants to have any kind of contact anyway. CJ there with a brilliant cutback there. And there goes Trials inside the middle, and Trials just outbrakes himself massively. And F's out for Trials 666, who just went straight on into the barrier there. Joe of the Fire into the pits. I'm into the pits, and so is CJ, of course. Stevie having been in at some point also earlier. No, Stevie is still going on those tires, so he's trying to overcut his rivals and claw back some time while he has the clear track at this moment. So there it is, and I'm taking advantage of the pit stop there, going in behind and coming out just in front of CJ. So strong work there from the Master Mechanics. CJ now down to fourth position in class there. Wake having overtaken Trials. Trials with absolute horrible luck there. Sparks now into the pits for his first pit stop on the soft tires. So certainly not what Trials would have been hoping for. It was a strong move actually. He just missed his braking point by, well, a bit too much, and in the end just had to go absolutely straight, also to stay clear of the two dueling cars around him. But it certainly was a brave move, and it would have been absolutely spectacular had he pulled it off there. Kugas now, as we see, he is out of the pits and onto the track again, and he is still in the lead, as he's just about to serve or to suffer from the curse there, just close to going wide with his left rear tire. Nilsman up into second position now, with the rest of the field having pitted. It'll be interesting to see how he can come back here. He is kind of on a skewed strategy now, having had his first stop of the race so early. And Off Apple is in third position and looking to be on a bit of an island also, with a very good gap down to Jim and Ninja Karma in the places behind. Mika, he is in sixth position and far way back at this moment, so really hasn't gone well since we saw him have a quite good start there, Mika. And now he is struggling to find his rhythm, and he's put on the medium tires, obviously going for a longer stint this time around. Joe of the Fire is still just, and I say just, he isn't just going around the track because he is going at a quick pace, but he is certainly making it look very easy. He's looking very relaxed at the moment, and he's just letting the car do the work as it's supposed to be. It's Stevie, and he is pushing like a man possessed. You can just see it in the behavior of that Aston as he goes wide, and he picks up damage there, and that was certainly on the edge of being cursed stuff. You will see him pushing on the absolute limit there, and I'm sorry for switching over and following you, Stevie, just as you were pushing a bit too hard to also have someone commentating on it. Obviously, the curse is strong. And that might just be the lucky break for me, as I still have CJ for company. Even though he hasn't been able to close up on the advantage I was able to gain on that pit stop round. But mind you that the Mazda is also somewhat of a stronger car here around Suzuka. And it is notably stronger on the top speed, while it doesn't really suffer that much through the corners. So obviously one of the things that makes it difficult for CJ really to show the same kind of performances as he has shown in the LMP class, where he has been the strongest driver of the season so far, with very few points of doubt. Wake, see you in 5th position there, having had a very clean race so far, it seems, and just perhaps missing a bit of that absolute pace. And we have Nils saying in chat that his early pit stop was scheduled. There you see, sometimes I do, not sometimes, most of the times, all the time pretty much. I don't know everything, I don't know it all, and the best I can give is a wild guess as to what the strategies are. And usually you wouldn't see the cars lapping in after 5 laps, but I do know that Nilseman, he put in a lot of practice for this race, and probably came up with a wise strategy in the end there. Gugas, he is still looking strong, but it also seems his advantage has somewhat diminished. It was at least at some point bigger, the advantage he was holding down to Nilseman. So that is going to be interesting to follow for the rest of the race there. Offat was still holding on to 3rd position, and Jim is in 4th with Ninja in 5th position, and Mika still in 6th. And it is still Joe of the Fire leading off the GT cars, and looking like a hard one to beat today there. Stevie there making his way through the chicane and onto the start-finish straight. Still going around with the damage, but also losing quite some time per lap at this point, being 1.5 seconds slower than his personal best at this moment, or on the last lap there. And that means it is myself and CJ just closing up at this moment. So really hasn't been a good race for Stevie so far, with some real bad luck through the opening 25 minutes or so of the race here. Let's see if he'll be needing to pit before long. I am afraid he probably will, to get in and fix the damage he picked up there. CJ still putting on the pressure to myself and applying just that, but also in turn, as he, even though he has closed up the gap quite well, does seem to be having a little bit of trouble just getting within striking distance at the moment. As Gugas comes round to overtake once more. And he just gets cleanly by. Also a really good place to overtake down the back straight here. As he comes up towards Stevie down through 130R. And that is a dangerous place to say the least. But he manages to pull it off. And gets safely through, and now it's just Joe of the Fire remaining for him. Nilsson in second position. And seemingly just going quite strong at the moment. But also looking just to be a little bit held up here through turn 1. By the Beetle of CJ. Obviously he is by no means obliged to move out of the way of the LMP cars. It is the responsibility of Nilsson in this situation to make his way through cleanly, and seems to be doing so very well through a very difficult section there of the track to overtake. Coming up through Dunlop there, Afabo still in third position. He is looking very steady there. So at the moment it is still all about we've had in the pits and out again on fresh rubber now, and without damage this time around. So clearly he'll be looking to put in his best pace and regain some of that lost ground. But it also just seems to be very, very difficult for him now at this moment, because he is quite a bit away behind class leader Joe of the Fire, who in turn just has had a very smooth race so far. So there is Stevie. And there is CJ having lost also a bit of time. Up to myself now. Gugas is pitting in. Gugas coming in with engine damage. So we have missed a major moment there in the LMP class, because Gugas is in to the pits to get that fixed, and he has already lost time. We saw that he was already behind Nilsson and he was coming in. And we actually don't know for how long he's been driving around with this. So terrible luck there for Gugas as he rejoins the track in third position. Just gifting away the other two podium spots, at least for the time being there. Certainly not what he would have wanted there from P1. He was looking very smooth, he was looking calm and composed, and looking really strong actually just there in the lead of the race. Now he is having to attack, he is having to catch up once more. So really it all seems to be playing into the hands of Nilsson after all here, as we see Gugas coming up to overtake the car of CJ. And I think we also had a dropout at this point, actually. A big shame that the Armored Core has retired. And Gugas just making his way cleanly around. And I think that is, in fact, the leading car of Joe of the Fire. So Nilsson in a position that he knows quite well. He comes into the pit for what I can only imagine being a scheduled pit stop here on the 30-minute mark. As he comes in for fresh tires and a bit of fuel. And that leaves off Apple in the race lead at the moment. So strong work, and let's see if he can pull off some kind of overcut there upon Nilsson. He would really need to put in some good lap times there upon the next couple of laps, and of course having to pass Joe of the Fire here up through the S's. That is certainly not gonna help it too much. And we have Apple in chat noting that Armored Core always retires. Well, I don't think he always retires because he was quite close to winning the MP race at Dragon Trail. But maybe you just got him sicked up. Joe of the Fire in turn still leading. It is now Master La Vista 1-2 in the GT class after that pit stop of Stevie. And in turn I've built up a little bit of an advantage as well down to CJ, so it's really looking good for both Joe and I at the moment there. CJ in turn, yeah, just losing a little bit of time here and there it seems. He was closer a couple of laps ago. Stevie, he's really putting down a thundering pace. But let's see if he can keep it going like that. That early incident just seemed to maybe upset his rhythm there, and CJ looked to have a big moment there. And how is he just gonna defend that from Stevie? As we know, the Aston is the superior car down the straight, and he just goes straight past with really not a chance there from the Beetle to do anything about that. And that brings Stevie back into the podium spots. He is up into third position in class as I come into the pits for a scheduled pit stop there. CJ is also into the pits, and CJ on the soft tires, myself coming in on the super softs. And also we see CJ actually having burned more fuel there in the Beetle. And at the same time we also have Trails coming in for a pit stop. And that is just looking like a scheduled one for him. Indeed it is. And he is in 11th place at the moment. And he'll be hoping to get around and out of the pit lane before Wake CU gets back on him. But it does see that Wake is in front now. Trails doing an awful lot of fueling there. And that is almost a full tank. That is probably gonna be enough to last him the rest of the race. So it will give him an advantage come the last pit round, where he'll be able to take some seconds out of an eventual battle there. Let's see how that plays out for Trails. And Sparks having picked up damage there, certainly not looking like it's been a day to remember for him so far. He is in P7 in class at the moment. Fable still leading proceedings, looking like a man having to come into the pits soon. Those tires are looking worn. Ninja Karma coming in, and he has picked up quite a bit of damage there to the front of his car. And it doesn't look like it's an absolutely forced pit stop. Of course, fresh rubber getting on anyways, fuel coming in anyways, and then just a bit of time. And he comes out there. And now Stevie is into the lead once more, or is he? It's gonna be really close. I think he just manages to squeeze by Joe of the Fire after the pit stop of Joe there, but Stevie on some rubber that is quite a bit worn compared to the very fresh tires of Joe. Let's see how this plays along now. Oh, Joe just has a look coming in to the first of the Daxers there, the second and tight one. Stevie picking the right line, the defensive line, as they come down towards the hairpin here, the right kink, and Joe of the Fire there looking to get the exit, just looking to keep the space between the cars, but Stevie gets a strong exit though also. through 200R and down towards Spoon curves. And also not really the place where you'd expect any kind of overtaking. It is a very difficult place to go too wide there. It certainly costs a lot of time. So it looks to be battle on here as Stevie picks the absolutely most defensive line there and squeezes Joe up the fire to the outside. Joe in turn just having to lift. A little bit of a swivel there from the car of Stevie there as Joe goes into... Oh, there was a little bit of scrubbing there. Coming into the chicane, Joe of the fire getting his car past for now at least here because Stevie seems to have the run. Coming on to the start-finish straight. And they are absolutely side by side here coming into turn 1. And a brilliant late braking maneuver there from Stevie sees him taking P1 in the GT class at the moment once more. And what a crazy battle we're seeing here. Really, really intense stuff from the two championship contenders. Of course, Stevie at this moment just desperately trying to slow up Joe here before he has to go into the pits himself, inevitably to put in more fuel. So still Joe, and he's pretty much just ducking and diving. He's having looks left, and right there and again. Once more out of the chicane there. But Stevie just applying the throttle at the perfect moment there. Joe of the fire not able to get too early on it because that would just send him right up the rear bumper of Stevie. And Stevie in turn getting the best run down towards the spoon curves here. And as Stevie is back in chat, well Stevie, you missed a lot of the good stuff here as Joe of the fire is gonna probably send one up the inside coming down towards 130R once more side by side. No, that is Stevie going for the cutback as we saw CJ do it earlier there, but not possible as Joe of the fire takes a very defensive line there into the chicane and does so quite strongly indeed. Also, I think Stevie will have to come in this time around, and he does come in for his pit stop there. Just not enough fuel to take him around the track once more. And that will in turn open up the possibility of me taking second position once more. Having had a quite smooth race there, also having built a very, very comfortable advantage down to CJ. And getting safely through turn 1 there. CJ now in third position in class. Apple, he's down in third position after his pit stop. But he put on some medium tires and is definitely gonna carry through for the rest of the race on those medium tires. So that's gonna be really interesting to see. Gugas in turn, he is looking like he is closing up on his second, or well it must be his second pit stop there. Around the 40-minute mark of the race with 20 minutes of racing remaining there. Nilsman looking very, very steady in the lead of the race. And Gugas having made up a lot of the ground. And oh, as we just catch him out this time, Gugas goes extremely sideways there in Dunlop. And I don't know how he managed to keep that car on the tarmac. That was quite a bit of a save there from Gugas, but certainly not gonna help his lap time, certainly not gonna help the deficit he has upon Nilsman that he was trying to close up, maybe just pushing a little bit too hard. A huge drift indeed upon that one from Gugas there. Off Apple in third position, he's looking to take advantage, and with Gugas pitting in now, and with off Apple probably having had his last pit stop of the race, does look like we're in for a battle for second position here. It is the car of Trout 666 getting overtaken by off Apple. Jim on a strong performance there today. Also, he is in 4th position in class, but joined by Ninja Karma now, so we do have a battle for that P4 in the LMP class also. Joe of the Fire looking really solid today. And oh, get those Fs out. Oh, that is oh, that is probably one of the worst places you can spin and end up just facing the wall, trying to get the car out of there, realizing I couldn't without smashing it into it, and that cost me bucket loads of time as both Stevie and CJ comes through there. That is my hopes of a top spot gone there, because up until that point I had a good race, and that really just broke my rhythm completely, just threw me out of it. A huge shit moment for myself, to be honest. And I have seemed to have quite a lot of those as of late, and that is something I will need improving upon in the very near future indeed. Now Wake CU, he is... Gugas is in the gravel trap, and that leads off Apple right through, and that is right after his pit stop, so that is possibly the worst possible time there for Gugas to put it into the sand there in the Daxers, and now he is gonna battle off Apple there as he just makes an easy pass there on the hybrid system. It seems is off Apple gonna be able to come back in upon him. He is on the outside line coming down towards Spoon there with way... Oh my goodness! As Gugas puts it way wide, coming into Spoon there, not getting nearly enough speed off, and nearly took out weight in the process as well. That was very close indeed. And Gugas in turn actually well done not to hit the car of Wake CU in that situation, but now certainly must be very frustrated with that. The Portuguese driver down into 3rd position now. It is still Joe of the Fire leading. It is still now CJ, or I'm sorry, it is still of course Stevie in 2nd position. So he will probably also be able to go for the rest of the race. CJ, he is now in 3rd position in class, and also having had quite the steady race, and just maybe suffering on the lack of pure grunt and top speed. But the Beetle there also goes very wide there, coming out of the Daxers up towards the hairpin. And all the problems for Gugas up behind really just indeed playing into the hands of Nilseman, who once more, up until now at least, just really had a smooth race and is absolutely dominating the LMP AM class. So really strong work there once more from Nilseman. And for every race he does this, I'm just saying the chances of him being promoted into the pro field at the end of the season is just getting bigger and bigger off Apple. There he is, quite a bit of way back now with Gugas already making his return. Excuse me for that one, but it really seems like Gugas does have a strong pace advantage on that Audi R18 or Audi R18 above Apple, as Gugas just cuts quite a bit of that chicane there coming in. Perhaps the stewards will have a look at that one post-race there. Ninja Karma also just seems to get a little bit of the car off the track, and a little too much in turn maybe even also. Jim now having picked up some damage for him, and that is poor luck indeed, because he was looking like he was going strong, and now he is coming into the pits for a repair, a set of fresh tires, and probably not any fuel. I suspect he'd have enough to finish the race, and probably also more than enough to go around for the remaining 15 minutes there. So probably should have put in a bit of less fuel there. I think Trout 666 also coming out the pits here from his last pit stop. So Joe of the Fire, he has led almost from the start to this point. He was the pole setter in class, and he certainly has been at least he has been extremely strong, and he's had a very smooth race also, and that was what I was looking to say. So Nilsson coming in for his final pit stop there. Just fresh tires. I think he has enough fuel, maybe a little bit of extra fuel coming on there, just atop. Oh, South Apple just seems to get a little bit squirmy through 130R there, but keeps it under control there, having just overtaken. I think that is the car of, well, either it is Stevie or Trout. Not really able to see that at the moment. And that is, of course, the car of Stevie. Also getting overtaken there by Gugas. So Gugas still not out of the running for second position. And off Apple probably having to drive the laps of his life here. Still 14 minutes of racing remaining. So it could go either way there. Nilsson really having it all in his own hands at the moment here. As I am in for what will be my last pit stop. Wake also in the pits at this moment. So let us see there, Stevie, well, seemingly with enough fuel. The question will more be if those tires will last him all the way while being able to carry speed. But if anyone can keep his tires alive, it is certainly this guy. What a phenomenon he is when it comes to going around a racetrack really fast while practically not using his tires at all, it seems sometimes. And hello CJ, welcome. Super late joiner indeed, but glad you could make the last bit of our broadcast here today. Always nice to see you in the chat. Just here, you can have a little look at yourself. Anyways, doing quite well here actually today. Joe of the Fire in for his last pit stop. He stretched that to the limit of his fuel, and now he's facing a very short last stint, and that will be playing in to his hands. I think he'll be able to keep the tires fresh while pushing even harder than the cars behind. And with, I was just about to say he keeps a steady advantage. He now has Stevie, who somehow managed to just claw in a bit of that advantage, and now use that pit stop to be really close. But as I just said before, Stevie's on warm rubber, so I think he will be struggling to keep the pace there with Joe. CJ now having his pit stop done with, and he keeps a hold of third position for the moment being there. Gugas now up into second position, so we did miss a little bit there. I'm sorry, just as I actually thought about it, and then I took a look at the chat, and then I saw you saying, well, I wonder how much Gugas is caught up right now. And well, indeed, Gugas is passed. He is up into second position, and well, from now and the last just about 10 minutes or so of the race, it'll just be up to Gugas whether he can keep his car on track or not. Certainly has had a bit of problems with the aforementioned early in the race, and now Apple just also seemed to catch up a little bit there. But you just see that hybrid power just coming out of the corners, creating such a huge gap time and time again. One thing I could be a little bit in doubt about is whether or not Gugas does have enough fuel to actually finish the race, or is he gonna have to come in once more for an extra pit stop there. It could actually very much look like it, so that'll be interesting to follow as well. Once we get so far now, Nilseman, he is quite a bit of way in front there and looking ever so strong. And Off-Apple looking really determined there to stay with Gugas now. And obviously Gugas could go for making that fuel last 10 minutes, but it would probably put him at too much of a disadvantage. Off-Apple just getting a little bit wide into the hairpin there, of course, not the chicane. And in turn, just compromising his own exit there a little bit, it seems, but he does manage to catch up actually to Gugas now, and he is getting closer and closer as they come through Spoon Curve. And this is actually one of the places where the non-hybrid Audi might be able just to claw back some of that advantage, because it certainly has the top speed advantage on Off-Apple. He is really close now, but he is also just gonna be calm about it. He's gonna keep his wits about him. Oh, just gets a squirmy exit there, and in turn probably just loses the ability to overtake Gugas here, coming down the start finish straight. And here we have Ninja Karma coming in for his last pit stop, and also having collected up a bit of damage there, so oh, bad luck there for Ninja Karma. Stevie there. Oh, Stevie just goes quite sideways there into that last chicane. And now coming into the pits there. And does he have some damage why would he come in now? 8 minutes to go. Is it just for fresh tires? Does he have any damage? Does have enough fuel to finish the race, I think. A little bit of fuel coming on, but no time for repairs there, so it just was for a fresh pair of tires. And that in turn actually opens the door for well, you would think it might open the door for myself and CJ, but both CJ and I are quite a bit of way back. CJ still with the advantage on me at the moment there. Yeah, Joe, I know you gave me a timestamp, but I only have 2 eyes and 2 arms, and I find that most of the times during the broadcast, both arms and 2 eyes are quite busy. So now following Stevie, he is in second position there in class. Gugas, he is into the pits now. And that means that Off-Apple is up into second position. And Stevie really looks to be pressuring there. Oh, and just gets very squirmy on the exit of Spoon Curve there. Really looking dangerous indeed there. As we've had Jim retire from the race, I think at the moment he is gone from the race, and that means Joe's overall position is now 6th, and that is of course still first in class. Mika now with company from Ninja Karma, so quite the battle going down there for 4th position in class. Ninja Karma just having come out of the pits. Oh, those two are really close. And it looks a bit as they are going about it all over the place at times. Certainly Gugas would have hoped to be on a better strategy here come the end of the race and not have to pit so late and concede that second position to Off-Apple, who now is quite a bit of distance in front there. And did he even put enough in to finish the race? I am not entirely sure about that actually. So that'll also be really interesting to see. whether Google's really cocked it up on that one. Joe of the Fire looking strong. Stevie there and spin, and he's off, and that is F's out for the remaining for the reigning champion. Stevie A712. That is certainly not something we've seen him do a lot of times over these past 2 seasons of Nukeshot endurance racing. He just completely lost it on the exit of the second Daxa there and went straight into the wall, and you see that heavy engine damage, and that is gonna cost him a bucket load of time now, and it's clearly gonna open the door for CJ, who is now homing in upon him, and he's gonna lose that position before he even gets to the pit, and he might also just lose a position to me in turn, and that might just be his entire podium slipping away with that incident. That is really horrible luck for Stevie. Wake CU not too far behind, so it might actually be even worse, and it'll all be down to how fast he can get to the pit lane. Stevie, he's at the chicane now. CJ not really having caught up yet, so perhaps it wasn't going quite as quickly as I initially thought it would do there. CJ just getting past already. So that is Stevie coming in just for the damage. Not even gonna change his tires, just to get out as quickly as humanly possible. That leaves, as I said before, CJ now second in class, me now third in class, with CJ just a couple of, Stevie just a couple of seconds behind. Not the first time I've made that mistake tonight. Don't know why I'm finding it so hard to get those ones right. Sorry guys. So anyways, it's Nielsen still leading. It's off Apple in second position, and Gugas now a bit of a way back, I think, in third. And he might just find himself struggling. There's Ninja Karma in third position, so Gugas now getting overtaken. Gugas, I think he is on something that looks like fuel map 6 and not changing into third gear because he wants to conserve fuel to be able to just get around. Seems like he made a big mistake there. Gugas, he was looking so strong in that Toyota early in the race. Now that pace and strength seems all but vanished. He's fighting just to get it home. So Nilseman looking ever so strong in the lead here off Apple. Also looking quite smooth actually at the moment, and having the threat from Gugas now well, pretty much diminished would be a little thing to say. He is a far way back Gugas at this moment now. And it seems actually Ninja Karma could be close enough. No, he certainly is not close enough to be able to threaten off Apple here. So Joe of the Fire also really just looking like that if he can bring home that Mazda, and looks like this is gonna be the last lap for him. I think, yeah, 1 minute. That's gonna be really close. He actually might get to drive one more. We'll have to see about that one. And kudos to CJ. We haven't really seen a lot of him today. The one to put in this type of performance where the performance of the car isn't just really there, but the performance of the driver is super steady. It does cut a little bit much of that corner anyways. Super steady performance there from CJ to be able to grab second position. He does look like he's coming home for that. Now it is Stevie being really close up the rear bumper up myself on quite worn tires. Mind you, Stevie's tires is super fresh. They are super soft, and he is a super fast driver. Just see me just trying to slow him down. Coming out of the hairpin in through 200R there. Oh, as I get a tap there and I go wide. Oh, and that seems to be that battle over with. And I think that was Ninja Karma unfortunate there and just giving me a tap. And there comes Wake CU and he just... not sure what exactly happened there. I think neither Nil or Wake or I was really sure about that. Horrible luck for both of us there. What a dramatic last lap. And as we say that, we have had Nilsman cross the line as winner of the LMP class. We have had Joe of the Fire crossing the line now off Apple, going off and across the line to take second position there. Strong race from him. Ninja Karma taking home the third podium spot there. CJ, as we said before, in second position there in the GT class. Stevie managing to bring home the car in third despite his late crash there. With me taking fourth position, Wake in fifth, that is Trals in sixth, and Sparks in seventh position. And in the GTs we have Mika rounding off here. He's gonna finish in P5 with Gugas taking fourth, and that very dramatic end to the race. That was I think the most dramatic end to an NES race we've had yet. That was very I had a heart rate of 170 already on that last lap, and then just getting that little tap going off. I think it went up to something close to 200, and there might have been some Danish swear words being uttered behind that steering wheel. But indeed, that is the way of motorsports, and of course there are absolutely no grudges held from my side. And we've had quite a nice bit of viewers today, also very nice to see. We've had some really interesting racing, I think a little bit different than what we normally see, but also very, very dramatic indeed once more here on Suzuka. And you do have to wonder whether yeah, Joe can definitely confirm the Danish swear words. We were on team radio for the race there. No one has to wonder whether we're gonna see Fuji being used for the Japanese Grand Prix instead of Suzuka for season 5 of the Nukeshot Endurance series. But that is of course nothing but speculation at this moment. So yeah, of course, big congratulations to our two winners today, to Nilsman in the LMP AM class, to Joe of the Fire, of course, in the GT3 Pro class, having driven some really, really fine races, the both of you. And yeah, Stevie, I was also already thinking about 130R and how to make my car just fill up the entire width of the track somehow. It would have been really interesting to see. So, of course, that's actually also what I'm most gutted about, that we actually didn't get to finish that battle, because it was really fun. But anyways, once more, it has been great racing in the NES here. It was, as I said before, and I'm not gonna say it any more times. It was really eventful, and yeah. So, anyways, that will be it for tonight, I think. Do join us again here on Wednesday as we come back at you with round 2 of the Super GT, the TSR Multi-Class Super GT Championship. It's going to be round 2 from the Kyoto Yamagiwa track. Of course, continuing on our Japanese theme, the Japanese weeks that we've been going here strictly Japanese track action going on for the last couple of weeks here on Half the Race Gone, and that is gonna continue up to at least with what did I say before? Yamagiwa here at Kyoto on Wednesday, and then next weekend the NES Circus is going to Tokyo, so it'll be interesting to see if we'll get some Dorifto around that track. I'm quite sure we will, and I'm quite sure it'll be even... I mean, one track that is doomed for being absolutely chaotic with the traffic, I think is going to be the Tokyo Expressway. It's going to be the Eastern Loop. It's going to be really interesting to see how the drivers manage to tackle that one. So as I said, do join us on Wednesday, and do join us in a week's time as at that time we're back with the next round of this fantastic series, the Nukeshot Endurance Series. It has been an absolute pleasure. My name is DirtandDK. Thank you so much to all of you who joined us, all of you who joined us in chat. It's been a big pleasure. And to all of you out there, until next time, see you again. Take care, have fun, and bye bye.